An enthusiastic response.
You made us go on the record as soon as you hit record, so you know we're
Yeah.
kind of a little quiet.
That was voice control.
Exactly. Don't say anything wrong now.
You're our Siri.
I have to admit that voice assistants, at least to me, are one of the biggest product disappointments. It's like every time I try to use them, they disappoint.
Well, I don't use them.
Yeah, I don't anymore.
Okay, probably let's get started. Today is the February 7th. This is the database scalability working group. And first item is significant updates since last meeting. Timelines there, so everybody feel free to check. There's no change to the timeline and no confidence level change as well. So I'm going to go through the sharding groups updates one by one. The first one is actually phase 2 deployment to the staging environment that was done. Kudos to Jose and Nathan for deploying the CI cluster to the staging. So that enabled us the phase 3 rollout. Next is exactly Dylan and Tom were able to roll out the CI, separate the CI read in a staging environment. And we are keeping it 50% like last time we did it. So that's the best way to discover or catch issues in the staging. Now the reads, CI reads are to the CI cluster, dedicated CI cluster. And also bullet number 3, we will be starting rolling out the phase 3 or stage 3 deployment in production once the cluster, the new Patroni cluster is ready in the production environment. So that's the other part, the other half of phase 3. We finished the staging. Next will be production environment. And a few other changes. Number bullet 4 is this feature flag, this issue. The CI. I mean, we labeled all the issues that's not required for the first iteration as a CI decomposition follow-up. Then moved to a dedicated epic to keep them organized, so we can follow up after the first iteration is deployed. And also, we completed the rollout, the production. 100% production rollout of the feature flag track GitLab schema in current transaction to detect the modifications to RunDB. That was done over the last week since last update. And then bullet number 6 here. So we do have a candidate plan for rollout phase 4, and then the first step is to test. So this issue is to test that plan. Jose and the infrastructure is going to work on that. We just had a stakeholder sync this morning, so the infrastructure team is on that. This will be the blocker or a requirement to enter the phase 4 rollout. And next one, number 7, quick stat from Fabian. Thank you very much, Fabian, for doing that math. So decomposition, we have roughly 81. This was made about a week ago, so the number can be slightly different. But it was we had roughly 81 open issues remaining out of the 271. So that's roughly about 30% of the backlog. So we have about 30% remaining in the development backlog. And then about out of the 81 open issues, 24 are labeled CI decomposition follow-up. So they are not required for the first iteration. So roughly, those are roughly 30% of the outstanding issues. So what this means is that the infrastructure deployment carries more and more weight in the upcoming months because the development work becomes ready for more and more development work will become ready for deployment, and also development work will start winding down slowly. So any questions so far for the, I went through really quickly. Okay, no more questions. No questions. Fabian, you want to verbalize this item you have here?
Yes, I'll verbalize that. This may be a little bit semantic, but I'm trying to keep our epics up to date. So I've renamed our sort of main working epic from decompose GitLab's database to improve scalability to decompose GitLab.com's database to improve scalability, because that is the actual first iteration that we're working on. The other work for self-managed customers and follow-ups live in other epics that are sort of at the same level, and that helps us ensure that what is in that epic is all of the work that we need to do in order to deploy a decomposed database on GitLab.com, and the other work is what needs to happen in upcoming next iterations or for our self-managed customers. And I think that reflects better what we're actually trying to accomplish, makes it easier to see how far along we are. Yeah, that's important to know because the stats may change a little bit. I think sort of commenting to what Chun said earlier, I think it is right that we don't have as many development issues that are known in phase 4, and in phase 6, there's also still a number of them, but over the next few months, the deployment and rolling out and observing the changes and reacting to fixes will become more important as we are closing out some of that development work. So that's pretty exciting.
Yep. Cool. Any questions? Okay, then move on to ops. Sam?
Yeah, excuse me. I was looking at the issue that you said was opened up, and I see it there. I'm trying to figure out why it's not showing up on the ops board I've been using for tracking. But I think, so we have one issue open. I think that all the other ones closed last week. So I think we're in pretty good. There's not a huge update there, but I'll look into why the labeling on that one is not, why it's not showing up.
Yes.
Looks like it's just missing the CI decomposition label. It's got the phase 4 label, but not just the basic CI decomposition label.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you. Yeah, no, that explains it. So yeah, I need to look into exactly when that one will be done, but I think they've been going through these pretty quick, so wouldn't be concerned.
Yeah, this is phase 4 and was discovered last week. Okay, Wayne is not here, so I'll update for him. So there were 2 issues for secure section. The first one is scheduled, both are scheduled for 14.8, and they're both on track according to Main's update last Friday. So we'll just keep track of those progress. And team, is team here? No, so this update from the team was also last Friday. There are 2 issues for the import team. One is for phase 4, one is for phase 6, and the phase 4 is in the review stage, and the other phase 6. According to team, the team probably can get on it, get it done prior to phase 6, which starts in mid-March. So we still have 1.5 months to get the phase 6 issue down. So we'll keep tracking the daily stand-up of the stakeholder from the stakeholders. And infrastructure, anyone from the infrastructure here? No, so I'll just update from this morning's stakeholder stand-up. So the infrastructure team will find someone to get started on this issue and especially get the testing issue done. The testing issue is mentioned here at the top in bullet number 1A and Roman bullet 6, so 1A6. They will have someone to get started on the testing issue. Any questions?
Sean, do you need help from quality in that testing, or is it just infrastructure and development?
It's just the infrastructure because that's testing the environment. Yeah.
Okay. Let us know. Thank you.
Thank you. And then bullet number 2, review the rollout progress. So the chart, screen capture of the charts here. So we are, our issue burn up is accelerating, and you can see the delta, or the delta is dropping. So that's what we are going to see. We expect to see this trend. The delta will slowly drop to hopefully 0. Not hopefully, definitely. Absolutely go to 0. That means we finish all the development backlog. So it's a good trend overall. And MR burn up continue the same pace. So we are not backing up. We don't have a increased outstanding MR. So that's good also. Any questions about this chart? Okay. Then move on, no risks, and also number 4, it's not end of month, but our next significant date is February 22nd or 23rd. That's our entry of phase 4. So that's a date we need to keep in mind. We need to get everything ready for entering phase 4. So the teams are working towards that, especially the infrastructure team is working on the second PG Monster cluster. Okay, other discussions. So Dylan is the active manager of Starting Now. So I'm wondering if everyone here is okay to alternate this meeting every other week. So this week is a morning time for us. Then the next week will be the afternoon time for us, so that Dylan can join. I just want to touch base. Everyone does that work for you, or we just to keep this? I can continue to run this meeting always. Dylan is providing async update anyways. So what's your preference?
I mean, my preference is I'm happy with that. Like, there's no issue, but I will not be able to join because that is way off my workday. So it's up to you. I feel very confident that I can provide the updates needed asynchronously.
Cool. Thank you for the input. So Dylan preferred async. He's believed that async works the best. So I'll just double confirm with Dylan's preference, and we'll make a decision. If needed, I will make a change to the schedule. But I'll make that decision. Looks like everybody is open to any option. Thank you. Mac, you want to verbalize your point?
Thank you. And to be clear, I'm not asking or describing any changes yet, merely collecting data, thinking long-term engineering data trajectory. So do we use severity labels for all the issues in this workstream? Can all the issues be clearly mapped to a severity, or that's still yet to be defined?
I believe so. I believe we use severity labels for all the issues, but I need to double check if there are snowflakes.
We don't use any severity issues for regular issues. We use, I think, if we had a bug, we would classify that, but any of the other issues are the issues in our backlog. Maybe I've been using it wrong, I don't know, but I've reserved severity and priority issues for bug classification. That is when I apply them. So if you look at, a random phase 4 issue that we've been dealing with, then they will not usually have that, because we didn't need that fidelity, because the assumption is for a lot of the work it's sort of severity 1 in the case of like, we need to do it, otherwise we can't ship. So it hasn't really happened. I think it will become more relevant when we start rolling out features into production, and we see issues, and then we see bugs, and then we have to actually act on them. We had a couple of those, but they're still pretty rare, but they could become more prominent.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is we do use severity, but it's the generic levers and only for bugs, not for all the issues in this work stream.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah. As a follow-up, it's like, you may be able to help me with this. It's like, I have used severity labels and priority labels for clearly communicating the impact of something that is labeled type bug. I have not done this for others because I thought that was where we were using them. Is that going to change potentially?
I'm still collecting data. I think using the severity for the bugs in this workstream is the correct, going by the handbook in the current form. But I'm thinking on long term, how do we want to help capture, help provide a fidelity? And I think thinking better visibility in the burn down of the issue. So I'm still collecting data and thinking on how we should.
Okay, that helps. I was just thinking that like years of PM work, where I was doing something wrong.
Nope. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's all the topics for today. Going once, twice. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.